Guidelines for phased reopening. Unlock 1. As per Ministry of Home Affairs order dated 30th May 2020. Point 1. Phased reopening of areas outside the containment zones. In areas outside containment zones, all activities will be permitted except the following, which will be allowed with the stipulation of following standard operating procedures SOPs to be prescribed by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in a phased manner. Phase 1. The following activities will be allowed with effect from 8 June 2020. Point 1. Religious places, places of worship for public. Point 2. Hotels, restaurants and other hospitality services. Point 3. Shopping malls. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare will issue standard operating procedures SOPs for the above activities in consultation with the center ministry, departments concerned and other stakeholders for ensuring social distancing and to contain the spread of COVID-19. Phase 2. Schools, colleges, educational training, coaching institution, etc. will be opened after consultations with states and UTs. State governments, UT administrations may hold consultation at the institution level with parent and other stakeholders. Based on the feedback, a decision on the reopening of these institutions will be taken in the month of July 2020. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare will prepare SOP in this regard in consultation with the center ministries, departments concerned and other stakeholders for ensuring social distancing and to contain the spread of COVID-19. Phase 3. Based on the assessment of the situation, dates for restarting the following activities will be decided. Point 1. International air travel of passengers except as per permitted by MHA. Point 2. Metro rail. Point 3. Cinema halls, gymnasiums, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theaters, bars and auditoriums, assembly halls and similar places. Point 4. Social, political, sports, entertainment, academic, cultural, religious functions and other large congregations. Point 2. National directives for COVID-19 management. National directives for COVID-19 management as specified in Annexure 1 shall continue to be followed throughout the country. Point 3. Night curfew. Movement of individuals shall remain strictly prohibited between 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. throughout the country, except for essential activities. Local authorities shall issue orders in the entire area of their jurisdiction under appropriate provisions of law, such as under Section 144 of CRPC, and ensure strict compliance. Point 4. Lockdown limited to containment zones. 1. Lockdown shall continue to remain in force in the containment zones till 30th June 2020. Point 2. Containment zones will be demarcated by the district authorities after taking into consideration the guidelines of MOHFW. Point 3. In the containment zones, only essential activities shall be allowed. There shall be strict perimeter control to ensure that there is no movement of people in or out of these zones except for medical emergencies and for maintaining supply of essential goods and services. In the containment zones, there shall be intensive contact tracing, house-to-house surveillance, and other clinical interventions as required. Guidelines of MOHFW shall be taken into consideration for the above purpose. Point 4. States UTs may also identify buffer zones outside the containment zones where new cases are more likely to occur. Within the buffer zones, restrictions as considered necessary may be put in place by the district authorities. Point 5. States UTs, based on their assessment of the situation, may prohibit certain activities outside the containment zones or impose such restrictions as deemed necessary. Point 6. Unrestricted movement of persons and goods. Point 1. There shall be no restriction on interstate and intrastate movement of persons and goods. No separate permission approval e-permit will be required for such movements. Point 2. However, if a state UT, based on reasons of public health and its assessment of the situation, proposes to regulate movement of persons, it will give wide publicity in advance regarding the restrictions to be placed on such movement and the related procedures to be followed. Point 3. Movement by passengers trains and Shramik special trains, domestic passengers air travel, movement of Indian nationals stranded outside the country and of specified persons to travel abroad, evacuation of foreign nationals, and sign on and sign off on Indian seafarers will continue to be regulated as per SOPs issued. Point 4. No state UT shall stop the movement of any type of goods, cargo for cross-land border trade under the treaties with neighboring countries. Point 7. Protection of vulnerable persons. Persons above 65 years of age, persons with comorbidities, pregnant women, and children below the age of 10 years are advised to stay at home except for essential and health purpose. Point 8. Use of Aarogya Setu. 1. Aarogya Setu enables early identification of potential risk of infection and thus acts as a shield for individuals and the community. Point 2. With a view to ensuring safety in offices and workplaces, employers on the best effort basis should ensure that Aarogya Setu is installed by all employees having compatible mobile phones. Point 3. District authorities may advise individual to install the Aarogya Setu application on the compatible mobile phones and regularly update their health status on the app. This will facilitate timely provision of medical attention to those individuals who are at risk. Point 9. Strict enforcement of the guidelines. 1. State UT governments shall not dilute these guidelines issued under the Disaster Management Act 2005 in any manner. 2. All the district magistrate shall strictly enforce the above measures. 10. Penal Provisions. Any person violating these measures will be liable to proceed against as per the provisions of Section 51 to 60 of the Disaster Management Act 2005, besides legal action under Section 188 of the IPC and other legal provisions as applicable. Extract of these penal provisions are at Annexure 2.